Groundhogs Day, Bill Murray, the movie, living it over and over and over, and you get stuck in this loop and you just can't get out. Have you ever started off the first of the month in voiceover and you look at your books where you're at and you realize you're starting at zero with nothing. And then the next month you're starting with zero. No, yeah, and it's like you're starting from scratch every single month. Have you ever felt that way? Well, and that's more than a feeling. That's a reality. We're talking about numbers. This is a reality. Yeah, we've all, especially, earlier on. And there are a few things more frustrating than feeling like you're in that loop and feeling like, oh, I got to go out and I've got to go out and get new customers. It's like the term I've heard used is like hunting your dinner. When you have to hunt your dinner every day, it can be a bit tiring. Isn't it nice to know, like with Amazon, you can put on like an automatic order, or with your local grocery store, you can do an automatic order to have it delivered, and it's going to be there. And when I finally began to get some clients that started to repeat every week and every month, that becomes a game changer. And I've put together this beautiful illustration for you. I wanted to share with you. Can you see that? I did that in PowerPoint. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I was waiting for somebody to say something. Yeah.
if that was done in PowerPoint, you got to get that
Something.
program updated.
Yeah, I didn't need an update severely. So hopefully you guys can see this. But the pyramid is what I use to think of when it comes to customers. The bottom represents, these are what I'll call one-offs. And I actually should probably have made that category bigger, because it seems like the majority of our clients tend to be one-offs, or a lot. I'd say at least maybe half, where you'll get a job with them and you'll never hear from them again, and they'll never work with you again. And just the way it is. It's just, sometimes they go out of business. Sometimes, or maybe, they don't use voiceover that often, or maybe they didn't like me the first time. Usually there are other reasons, but there could be 100 reasons why they don't come back again. And then there's also a group here in the middle that do use you multiple times, but it's not always with great frequency. Some of them you'll hear from, once a year, once every few years. Some maybe once a quarter. Some maybe once every other month, with some sort of frequency, but not with regular frequency. What we are aspiring to is right here at the tip top. And these are our repeat clients. So the repeat clients, usually it's not going to be the majority of your clients, because that's, for whatever reason, that's just the way it works. But you will be able to cultivate, if you do the right things, a small core group of people that will come back to you over and over again. And there's nothing that feels better than starting the first of the month and looking up and saying, okay, here's 5 clients I know. I've got, like, for me, I know there's a core group of clients that I know like New Mexico PBS. I'm on a monthly retainer. I do promos every week and they send me a check every month. I've got a program, it's called Next Travel Stream, where there's a monthly session. There's I can't think of all of them off the top of my head, but there's a bundle of these, a group of these people that come back every month. So when I start, I'm not starting over from scratch. So that you want to be thinking in terms of, how can I make sure that my clients aren't just clients? Because we get so obsessed with getting the job, and we get so excited with the booking, which we should. I mean, certainly that's worth celebrating. But then the job comes, we get paid, and it doesn't take very long for that money to go. And what we need is a repeating source of that income. Let me talk about, not to rub salt in the wound, but here are the some of the things that we face when it comes to voiceover that makes it difficult to get repeat clients. When you look at the platforms, pay to play. Now, again, I'm not against, I think you should have multiple marketing channels. I think it's a good thing. I'm not anti-pay to play. I know I feel like I have to give that disclaimer every time I say it, but I'm not saying don't use it. But I will say it's difficult. It's more difficult to get repeat clients on a pay to play, because there's a wall between you and the client. Terms of service don't allow you direct communication off platform with the client. Some platforms don't allow any communication at all with the client outside of a recording session, which makes, and the pay to play culture is very transactional. Meaning, I'm a client, I need a voiceover talent. Why should I hire Bill DeWeese? Well, I can put out an audition to 200 people every job I do, for every job I do, which makes it, again, not impossible, but very difficult to create repeat clients. Agencies. An agent's job is not to get you work. Their agent's job is to get work for the agency. And they've got a roster of maybe a couple hundred people, say 100 women, 100 men. And then they market that in hopes that somebody in their stable of talent gets work. So they're not managers. And that's not a criticism. That's just the nature of the beast. They're not managers, they're agents. And so whether you get the job or whether I get the job doesn't matter to them as long as one of us do. Direct marketing, which I'll continue to beat this drum because this is where it's at. I mean, it's perhaps the last bastion of control that we have at all when it comes to marketing. We control the output. We can contact who we want and when we want, unless they ask us not to, which is fine too. Nothing wrong with that. But we have the power to reach out and to make those connections. And so that allows us to begin to cultivate these clients. Now, let's talk specifically about how to cultivate a client. Number one is customer service. The better you treat your client, the easier that you make it for your client to work with you, the more likely they are to hire you. The one thing I've learned over the past 20 years, maybe closer to 21 years now of doing this full time, is that clients, I used to think they hired me on my talent. And certainly, I mean, you have to, they're looking for a product and you have to be able to deliver that product. But the feedback I get from clients, although they're very kind in their feedback and they'll let you know you do a good job and everything. But you know what really clients get excited about is the fact that you're so easy to work with, that you don't make it difficult for them, that you do what you're going to do when you say you're going to do it, because it helps. They're the middle. Usually they're the middlemen and women between, they have clients that they're serving and they need us to give them a product that can create the product that they're creating for their clients, usually in the form of a video production or media production of some sort. So if we create a speed bump along the way and we make it difficult for them to serve their customers or to make their boss happy, that's a problem. And they'll go to somebody else. But if we can make them look like a hero, and you have as a voiceover talent, you have that ability. Because when you do the job, you do it well and you do it on time and you don't make it difficult. And there are a number of ways you can make life difficult for a client, just as there are a number of ways they can make life difficult for you. But when you make it easy, when you're responsive, when you get things done quickly, if they have a pickup on it for the project, you have to build that into it. At least half of every project I do has pickups, changes, edits, those kind of things. I try not to make it mistakes on my end, although those slip through on occasion too. But when those pop up, do those as quickly as you can so that they can get back to the task of serving their client. And when you do that, you become their hero. They'll come back to you again and again. And that's what my clients typically tell me. They say, man, you make my life so much easier. That's what it's not, Bill, you sound so great. You have such a great voice. It's, you make my life easy. And when you can make a client's life easy, that's a huge deal. The second thing is, it's communication. So whether it's in that kind of a relationship or whether it's a business relationship, there has to be communication, especially in a business relationship. It is so easy. It is so easy to go out and get another talent. Again, as I mentioned earlier, all they have to do is hop on voices.com, voice123, post an audition, let 200 people audition, and they're off to the races again. They don't have to use us. But when they choose to use us, it's because we've made it easy for them. We've made it easy for them to work with us, and we've stayed in touch with them. Client communication is everything from communicating throughout the project. Like when somebody reaches out to me, I'll confirm that I received it, and I'll either give them I'll let them know when to expect it back, or if we've already clarified that, I'll just say, you'll hear back from me soon. And they do hear back from me soon. So I communicate during the process. I never leave a client in the dark wondering what's going on with their project. That is like the worst thing you could possibly do, because the minute you do that, you've allowed anxiety to enter their life, their business life. And that's not a good thing. We don't want to be a part of any of that. We want to be in the anxiety relieving business. And we do that by communicating with our customers throughout the entire life cycle of the project that we're involved in. Outside of that, it's a matter of just staying in touch on a general basis so that between jobs, between projects, or maybe they've hired us for a project and we don't know if we'll ever hear from them again. But if we stay in touch with them, and we talk about that with VoFlow, and your system is set up so that to either automate it or to remind you to send out a communication to an existing client every month, just to touch base so that it keeps you top of mind. Because remember, you're dealing with people who aren't family members. They're not stuck with you. They are not stuck with you at all. So it's the adhesive that keeps us together is very fragile, and we have to do everything that we can to nurture that. And client communication is a big one. And so let me kind of wrap this up with a challenge to you. If you've done this for any length of time, there's going to be a number of clients that you've done work for that you haven't heard from for a long time. I do. We all do. Again, the longer you've done this, the more of those people that you've done work for that you've never heard back from at all, or you just haven't heard from them in a long time. Let me encourage you to do a reactivation email. And that's simply an email that reaches out saying something along the line, I know things have been kind of crazy lately. I'm doing well. Here's what's going on. I hope you're doing well. If there's anything I can ever do for you, don't hesitate to reach out. It doesn't have to be those words exactly. I'm just off the top of my head. That's the kind of thing that I would say. And it's brief, it's to the point, and it lets you rise above all the noise in their life and say, hey, I'm here. I'm still here. So that they go, oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember him. I remember her. And I remember that experience and the great job they did for me. And oftentimes, I mean, this happens where, they'll be in the process of looking for somebody. And I just got an email the other day that said, hey, I've just started this project. Thanks for your email. You're perfect. This is great. Let's do this. But a reactivation campaign is a really good thing to do on occasion, maybe once a quarter, at the very least a few times a year, where you're looking for people who haven't done work with you in a matter of months, 3 to 6 months. And you just say, hey, just wanted to let you know I'm still around. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know. It does work. It really does work. But you have to, kind of build that into your workflow. So we want to go from one-offs, and one-offs are fine. I don't hate these guys. I don't hate these guys at all. I mean, they've accounted for a lot of my income, but when you can move them up here to where they're on a regular or semi-regular basis sending you money, or giving you jobs, they don't just send you money without a job, but they're booking you for work. That's when, number one, your income increases. Number two, it relieves your anxiety because every month you got money in the bank. I don't know about for you, but for me, that's a huge deal and makes life so much easier as a voiceover talent. Any thoughts, questions?
Yeah, how can we get them just to send us money? Just,
I'm working on that, Dennis.
Well, you let me know when you get an idea.
And if you guys have any thoughts or suggestions on that, it's funny. I used to be in a job where, you guys know, I worked in radio for a long time. And for about the first half of my career was commercial radio. Second half was nonprofit. So there was fundraising involved. And that's where basically you're asking for money for, well, I was going to say for nothing. It's nothing tangible. You're selling airwaves to people and the programming, the content that you do. Actually, that was kind of fun. I enjoyed it, but I think it's easier when you have something that's more tangible in the hand. All right, guys, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. We'll be back here tomorrow morning if you're available. Always love seeing, like I said, I love seeing your smiling faces. Have a great day. Oh, before you go, by the way, I didn't mention this yesterday, and that is, let me find my notes here. I am starting a series of weekly voiceover coaching / support calls. So this is for all the VoFlow customers. This is for those of you who are VoFlow customers, whether it's VIP or premium, and that just means the difference between monthly or annual payments. On Monday mornings at 10 a.m., this is Central Time, Chicago time, Monday at 10 a.m., Wednesday, 7 p.m., and Friday, 12 noon. I tried to find different times so that hopefully you'll be able to find a time. So what this is, it's open forum. Come in if you have a question, or if, let's say you're working on an audition, or you say, Bill, can I read this for you and give me some feedback? I'll do that. If you have questions about your audio, anything at all. I'm just going to be there. Again, it's open forum. Bring your questions, if you feel stuck on something. This is not going to be technical in nature. Chris is doing these now. He's doing multiple sessions a week now to help give technical support for the VoFlow customers who have questions about that. He's much more proficient and knowledgeable on the tech side of things than I am. But this will be general voiceover stuff. If there's anything I can help you with, now that's just part of your VoFlow experience. So if you can make it,
Bill,
yeah, go right ahead.
when is this starting?
Starts tomorrow night at 7 p.m. will be the first one.
Okay.
So having it at different times, is that helpful, or is that?
Well, it's helpful for me.
Okay, good.
You know, when you mix it up between the PM and the AM,
Okay.
depending on the days, it's helpful for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. That's awesome. Then that's what we'll do. And then as long as this works, we'll just keep going, using the schedule. But again, 10 a.m. Monday, again, Central Time, Wednesday, 7 p.m., and then Fridays at 12 noon. And if you just want to hang out and listen to see what other people are asking or talking about, that's fine too. Just, that's fine.
Will there be a link in the calendar like this?
Yeah, yes, they're in there now. Wait a minute, let me double check.
Because I think the calendar says the 22nd.
Okay, let's see here. I've got, tomorrow night, Wednesday at 7. And then Friday at noon, and Mondays at 10. I'm sorry, Celeste, what were you saying about the?
I thought I tried to look at the calendar last night, and I didn't get one coming up on the 15th. I had it coming up on the 22nd, but I'm sure that's user error.
Well, double check it. I'm looking at it right now, and it's showing up on the 15th in my calendar. So check it again.
I'll check again. I'm sure it's user error.
Yeah, if you have a problem, let me know. We'll make sure you get in.
Okay.
One way or the other, we'll get you in there.
Groovy.
All right, guys. Have a great day. Yeah, groovy. We'll see you later. All right, bye.